The conjunction of one person's Mars to another's Chiron is one of the most intense and undeniably karmic configurations. While Venus Chiron speaks to the heart and Moon Chiron to the soul, Mars Chiron speaks to the blood, the bone, and the primitive drive to exist. When these two energies merge, the sacred warrior, Mars, meets the wounded healer, Chiron. This creates a dynamic where action and pain become inextricably linked, often signaling a relationship that has been convened by the universe to resolve ancient debts regarding power, assertion, and survival. The karmic signature, the wounded warrior bond. In a karmic context, a conjunction suggests that these two souls have likely encountered each other in lifetimes where conflict, physical survival, or the suppression of will was the primary theme. The shared history. This aspect often points to a past where one partner may have been the aggressor, Mars, and the other the victim, Chiron, or perhaps they were comrades in arms who failed each other in a moment of crisis. The present resonance. Upon meeting, there is often an immediate, electric recognition. It isn't always comfortable. It can feel like a fight or flight response triggered by the mere presence of the other. The Mars person's natural drive instinctively pokes the Chiron person's deepest insecurities, not out of malice, but because their very energy acts as a key to Chiron's locked door of pain. The Mars person, the catalyst of awakening. In this dynamic, the Mars person acts as the activator. Their drive, sexuality, and way of moving through the world directly impact the Chiron person's unhealable wound. The trigger. The Mars person may unintentionally do things that make the Chiron person feel inadequate, weak, or defensive. The purpose. The Mars person's role is to provide the heat necessary for the cauterization of the wound. They force the Chiron person to stop hiding their vulnerability and to finally stand up for themselves. The risk. If the Mars person is unconscious or aggressive, they can become a source of re-traumatization, repeating the karmic cycle of harm rather than breaking it. The Chiron person, the alchemist of agony. The Chiron person holds the map of the pain. They are the ones who must undergo the most profound transformation for the karma to clear. The mirror. The Chiron person often sees in the Mars person the strength or permission to be angry that they feel they lack. They may oscillate between being deeply attracted to the Mars person's vitality and feeling repulsed or threatened by it. The mastery. Over time, the Chiron person teaches the Mars person that true strength is not found in conquest, but in vulnerability. They help the Mars person refine their raw aggression into purposeful, healing action. Key areas of karmic manifestation. Sexuality and sexual healing. This is perhaps the most famous manifestation of Mars Chiron. Sexuality becomes a primary vehicle for karmic resolution. The implication. Intimacy may feel heavy, serious, or even therapeutic. There can be a sense that through the physical act, both partners are purging old ghosts. The challenge. There may be initial blocks or performance anxieties rooted in past life traumas regarding bodily autonomy or sexual shame. The right to assert. Anger management. The karma often revolves around the suppression of the will. One or both partners may have a broken relationship with anger. The relationship becomes a laboratory for learning how to express holy rage or healthy boundaries without destroying the connection. The body and physicality. Since Mars and Chiron are both very physical, this conjunction can manifest as a shared interest in healing the body, be it through sports, martial arts, or alternative medicine. The pain of the relationship is often literally felt in the body. Moving toward resolution. Clearing the debt. The goal of Mars Chiron Synastry is to move from the wounded warrior to the spiritual warrior. 1. Acknowledge the trigger. When the Chiron person feels hurt by the Mars person's actions, they must ask, is this person actually hurting me, or are they touching a bruise I already had? Softening the blow. The Mars person must learn to shield their sword in the presence of the partner, practicing intentional gentleness. Collaborative healing. This aspect thrives when the couple works toward a common crusade, helping others, activism, or physical healing. Using the Mars energy for a Chiron, cause externalizes the tension and turns it into a superpower. Conclusion. Mars conjunct Chiron is not an easy placement for a casual romance. It is a soul contract for transformation. It demands that you face the parts of yourself that feel weak, ugly, or broken. If both partners are willing to do the work, The result is a bond of indestructible intimacy. A relationship where two people have seen the absolute worst of each other's pain and chosen to stay and heal it anyway. When Mars sits on another person's Chiron, the house placement indicates the specific arena of life where the karmic wounding and subsequent healing will play out. The house usually belongs to the house person, while the Mars/Chiron duo acts as the planetary force entering that space. First house, the wound of existence. The karma here is deeply personal and physical. The Mars person's energy hits the Chiron person's very sense of self. Theme: the right to exist and take up space. Experience: the Chiron person may feel exposed or physically self-conscious around Mars. Healing comes through reclaiming bodily autonomy and self-confidence. Second house, the wound of worth. This placement focuses on values, money, and the right to have. Theme: self-worth and material security. Experience: Mars may trigger the Chiron person's fears of poverty or feelings of being unworthy of nice things. Together, they must learn that value isn't just about what you produce. Third house, the wound of the voice. Karma revolves around communication, siblings, and the right to be heard. Theme: intellect and expression. Experience: the Mars person may inadvertently silence the Chiron person or trigger memories of being told they weren't smart. Healing happens through finding a shared language for pain. Fourth house, the wound of belonging. This is one of the most sensitive placements, dealing with roots, family, and the right to feel safe. Theme: ancestral trauma and the home. Experience: the Mars person triggers inner child wounds. The relationship can feel like working through the childhood we never had, focusing on creating a secure emotional base. Fifth house, the wound of creativity. Karma regarding the right to play and the joy of self-expression. Theme: romance, children, and creative output. Experience: the Chiron person may feel blocked creatively or romantically. Mars acts as the spark that forces the Chiron person to take a risk on joy again. Sixth house, the wound of the body. This often manifests as health issues or a workaholic mentality to avoid pain. Theme: daily service, health, and habits. Experience: the Mars person may push the Chiron person to their physical limits. Healing involves finding a sustainable rhythm and treating the body as a temple, not a machine. Seventh house, the wound of the other. The karma is purely relational. The wound is the partnership. Theme: equality and commitment. Experience: the Chiron person may fear that to love is to be hurt. Mars forces them to face the battle of intimacy rather than running away. Eighth house, the wound of trust. This is the most intense, shamanic placement for Mars-Chiron. Theme: sex, death, rebirth, and shared resources. Experience: deeply psychic and sexual. This placement often involves purging past life trauma through intense physical and emotional intimacy. Ninth house, the wound of meaning. Karma regarding the right to believe or the trauma of dogmatic upbringing. Theme: philosophy, travel, and higher education. Experience: Mars challenges the Chiron person's worldviews. Healing comes through a hero's journey, involving travel or spiritual seeking together. 10th house, the wound of authority. This deals with the right to lead and public reputation. Theme: career, legacy, and the father figure. Experience: the Chiron person may feel attacked or judged in their professional life. Mars helps the Chiron person find the courage to step into a leadership role despite their fears. 11th house, the wound of the collective. Karma regarding the right to belong to a group or tribe. Theme: friendships and social causes. Experience: the Chiron person may feel like an eternal outsider. Mars acts as the champion who pushes the Chiron person to re-enter the social world and fight for a cause. 12th house, the wound of the unconscious. This is the most hidden and ghostly placement. Theme: dreams, spirituality, and hidden enemies. Experience: the pain is hard to define, it feels like vague sorrow. Mars illuminates the Chiron person's blind spots, often leading to profound spiritual breakthroughs or miraculous healings. Subscribe to Karmic Synastry channel for guidance on your potentially karmic connections.